Do you desire to move beyond just getting by, expand your limits and open up your possibilities, bounce back time and again, use your failures and disappointments as an opportunity to fuel your passions and talents, push past unpleasant circumstances and bloom and grow? Then this video right here is for you. Hey lovelies, welcome back to another video. Today's video is all about rising above challenges, sometimes incredibly harsh ones, and still flourishing is a superpower one can ever possess. We all possess this superpower. It just needs to be nurtured. Being spiritual beings and having a physical experience, having a human experience, we are naturally wired for survival, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing we cannot go through successfully if we put our minds to it. It's all about the mindset, you know. As creative beings with all of the powers to create our own world, we still see struggles all over the place. And this is simply due to the lack of awareness. Truth is, you cannot fix what you do not know. And the majority do not even know who they are. And to make matters worse, we are not keen on learning these things. We are not keen on discovering who we truly are. So we are left with no choice but to suffer. If this is you, if you are on this table, here are some tips that may help out. But before I dive right into it, I want you to know that you are never alone on this journey. You won't be the first to experience what you're experiencing, and you won't be the last. Everyone has been there. I have been there, you are there now, another person will be there tomorrow, and the cycle goes on and on. The package may not feel the same for everyone. What may feel like pain to me may only be the icing on the cake to you. So here's what you need to know. First of all, you need to acknowledge and be thankful for the opportunity. I know you'll be like, what? Is this an opportunity? Well, it is in every sense of the word. Every adversity is packaged for you according to your own actions, according to your own deeds. It is strictly designed to expose you to the best version of yourself and, most importantly, to draw you closer to God. If this doesn't sound like an opportunity to you, then I'm sorry, you may have to click out of this video because nothing I say will make sense to you. One may ask, why then do I keep going through stuff? Honey, it's because you're not learning the lessons. And until you do, the opportunities will keep resurfacing in different shapes and sizes. So acknowledge your opportunities for growth and be thankful for each one of them. Alright? Gratitude is the only way you will be able to navigate through this stuff with grace. And if truly you are putting in the work, things will turn around. It's just a matter of time. Gratitude is also another way of saying to the universe, I see you. I see what you are trying to do. And I'm open to accept all of the guidance, all of the way pointing to become the sparkling being I've always been. At the point when I understood everything that was happening during my days of ill health, I became open and receptive to divine love. And that was the main reason I was able to navigate through all of it with grace. I dealt with it so well so that I bet anyone outside of my circle didn't have a single clue that something was going wrong somewhere. So yeah, that is the first and most important step. You need to acknowledge, accept the fact that you realize that there is something going on and you're ready to turn it around, especially if it's not in favor of you. You're ready to put in the work to become a better you so that you can operate on a higher frequency. That being said, The next step is to figure out what you're going to do with this precious opportunity. There's a popular saying that goes like, waiting is not the hardest part, but rather the things you do while you wait is what makes the difference. It is what makes it worthwhile. At this moment, awareness is the only element that will make you take full responsibility instead of running away from it. Because how far can you go? It's only a matter of time and it comes back running after you. My simple advice is, if you've got something to deal with, the time is now. Fix that shit now. Go make amends now. Take action and do it now. Now is all we've got, not tomorrow, not yesterday. At this point, you need more praying, more meditation, more contemplation. Whichever works for you, stick with it and do more of that. You don't need to talk to people. You don't need to explain to anyone. You don't have to be telling people what you're going through. No. Don't go there. No, don't do that at all. Do not ever let anybody know the things you're going through unless they are truly in the position to help out. Otherwise, they will only be agents of gossip and be spreading false information about what doesn't even exist. So if you truly cannot help it and you really need to talk, go and stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself. Okay? If you feel like talking to God is not enough, through prayer, through meditation, through contemplation, if by doing all of that you still feel like it's not enough, get up, walk to your mirror, look at you and talk to you. Not your friend, not your sister, sometimes not even your mother or father. At this point, shutting out the noise comes in handy because you need clarity. You need to be able to think, not just consciously, but subconsciously. Because it is through the subconscious mind that propelling information is sent. The exact information that you need to move you forward will come through the subconscious mind, which is why at this moment you need as much peace and clarity as you can gather. Because if you miss out on all these signs and symbols, then you are doomed. You need to be able to pick up all of these signals because that is what you need to solve whatever it is you are going through. My medical leave was for a year. In fact, at the beginning, it didn't feel like a leave. It felt like I wasn't going to come back. It felt like I had lost my life even before I left. I was just waiting to see the end of it because it truly felt like I was at that point. I refused to continue going to the hospital because nothing was working. My immune system was just refusing to pick up anything that was being given to it. Luckily for me, I had someone like my mom around. She literally had to go on her knees and beg because she could tell I was dying. My eyes were white. Finally, I agreed to go, not because I wanted to go, but rather because I didn't like to see my mom in pain just because I am in pain. So I wanted to go so that she can feel at ease. And I was just on time. If I had waited any longer, now go ahead and go be that too. The doctor was still shocked, and she was really shocked that I was still moving in my condition because according to her, it was really terrible. Okay? For me, I know, alright? I know that my healing was, on the most part, miraculous. Because of the way things played out, I can 100% say that my healing was a miracle. Fast forward, I got better and gradually I was fully healed. My body was absolutely disease-free and I felt so brand new, like a newborn baby. And although the doctor asked me to wait till after about 6 months before I get back to active work, I started working only after about a month. And I know that was a risky thing to do, but then it also helped in my healing process. Because the thing about healing, especially when it has to do with the body, is that the more you move, okay, the more active you are, the more you heal, or the faster you heal. You get it? Movement is actually medicine. You just don't have to engage in activities that will be so strenuous on your health and make matters worse for you and drive you back to where you were coming from in the first place. Other habits I adopted at this stage, besides speaking to myself in the mirror, includes journaling and reading. Journaling truly puts your thoughts into perspective, and reading also gives you the exposure you need. So moving on, you just have to put everything you have learned into practice, and then you're good to go. You're good to flourish in your new self, and you're good to enjoy the highest version of yourself that you have now become. But mind you, that is not the end anyway, because there is always one step ahead. Okay? There's no perfection. Perfection doesn't exist on the lower planes of the universes of God. Okay? So no matter how good you think you are, there will always be a step ahead. So never stop learning. Never stop discovering yourself. Never stop wanting to know who you are, because there will always be something to learn. There will always be something to know. That brings me to my next tip, and that is block out the noise. I kind of mentioned it briefly in the previous point where I spoke about finding what to do with the opportunity. And in my case, what I did with my opportunity was to agree to go and see the doctor at the time I did. I went in just in time to avoid any casualties. But over here, I'm going to delve deeper into blocking out the noise. So as I said before, you really need all your senses intact at this point. You need to focus. You need to be attentive. You need to be operating from a space of peace. So you've got to do all it takes. For me, I deleted everyone's number from my phone, including my brothers. The only number left was that of my mom. And I had to do that because I realized that most of the people I had in my contacts would never, alright, on the regular, they would never reach out to you until they have seen a post on your status. So I was like, why are they here? What am I gaining from them? They're not adding anything to my life. I'm not adding anything to theirs. So why should they be here? Okay, so on that note, I deleted everyone's number, and I decided that if anyone is to check on me, like genuinely check on me without having to see my status first, then that number will be worthy of saving. So that was how come I started saving numbers. So if you reached out to me while I was ghosting, then your number is saved on my phone. If you didn't, then your number remains deleted. And from then till now, they haven't even said a word to me. And I haven't even said anything to them. So it goes on to prove my earlier point. We do not need each other. So there's no need for your contact to be on my phone. This also goes a long way to prove that people are not thinking about you. Alright? If you're having sleepless nights, thinking that someone is thinking about you, I beg rest. They are not thinking about you. Nobody is thinking about you. Just as you are not thinking about them, they are not thinking about you. Same goes with other social media platforms. If you have to unfollow people, Hansi, go and unfollow them. Do it for your own peace. I had to unfollow. In fact, I even wanted to delete all of my accounts, but I was like, no. Maybe when I get better, I'll still like to have a social life. So, a virtual social life. So let me just maintain the apps and rather unfollow people that I don't feel like they belong to my state of consciousness, my new state of consciousness, or the higher vibration I am vibrating on. And also, if you want to become a better version of yourself, you need to start paying attention to your feed. What are you exposing yourself to? What content are you exposing yourself to? Is it adding or subtracting to the efforts you are putting into yourself to become the best version that you yearn to be? If the answer is no, Hansi, pick up that phone and start unfollowing unnecessary things. Things that will not add any value onto your life. People that are of no use to you. Alright? They are of no use to you. They're not going to be of help to you today. They're not going to be of help to you tomorrow. They're not going to be of help to you even in your next life. Why follow them? Oh yeah? Go and start unfollowing people fast. You will not die. And if you do not feel like doing any of these things I have mentioned, lock up the phone. Alright? Get you a smaller phone like a yam. Okay? And put your SIM inside so that you can at least receive calls. And then lock your smartphone. Because what at all are you needing it for? What at all are you using it for? Okay? You don't need it at this point. You are down. You are ill. You can barely move. What do you need your smartphone for? You won't have the energy to be doom scrolling. You won't have, all you want to be doing at this point is to sleep. So, put that phone off, even if it's gonna be off for 3 months. Put it off, lock it away somewhere, get you a smaller phone. Alright? Those of you from Ghana, you know what a yam is. So get you a yam and put your SIM inside so that if there's any call you need to make, maybe to the hospital or to your caretaker, you can do so. And if that is still not enough, you can go ahead and move. Change your environment, change your community, change your country. Anything that is going to bring you peace, do it. If it's moving abroad for a while, do it. After your peace is assured, after it is secured, you can now start working closely with tip number 2. That is finding what to do with the opportunity. It is time to get locked in. Give it your best shot and enjoy the journey. Results may not come overnight, but trust me, it's on its way. One of the things I did with my opportunities for growth, besides taking the decision of going to see a doctor, is to start a YouTube channel where I can begin to talk about spirituality. Because tell you what, this entire journey, okay, from my turning point, my dark night of soul, everything had a spiritual touch. In fact, it was fully a spiritual experience. Okay, a lot of things were involved, and I've spoken about it in most of my earlier videos. You can watch them. I just want to share to the world, okay, that spirituality exists, and we are experiencing it every day, every minute, every hour, every second. Okay, all of life is spirituality. Even the physical things, okay, that we are so attached to has a spiritual element to it. So here I am, sitting in front of my camera and speaking to you as Mama Shanti, talking about spirituality. And also I decided to add beauty and lifestyle because those are some other things I love besides spirituality. And I also came up with other amazing ideas, which I'm still working on, and they're gonna manifest soon. So, you see, you need to find what you're going to do with your opportunities for growth. Alright? It should never make you remain the same. If you remain the same after going through stuff, then it means you didn't get the lessons. They will come back. Trust me. Until you become a different person, you become a different version of yourself, all of the shitty things will be thrown back at you. Because for you to move forward, those lessons must be learned. Now, I am not saying that I have cracked all of the codes to spirituality. I am only sharing my experiences, my viewpoint, the things I've had an experience with. Okay? Experiences will be different for all. Although there may be some significant differences, some of them may be similar. Alright? So sometimes when others listen to the things we have to say to them online, they may pick up a thing or two, alright, and implement in their current situation, and will help them it will help them move a step forward. Alright? So the ultimate goal is about service. Okay? Service to humanity, service to mankind. Alright? If you have something valuable and it will be helpful to the whole of humanity, then you have to share it with the world. Alright? Because once everyone begins to become better, is when we will have the peaceful world that we dream about so much. Alright? So if we are not telling ourselves these things, if we are not teaching ourselves these things, so that some people who do not even know that they are not just here for being here's sake, there's actually stuff they need to do. Okay, alright? Some people don't know that they came here actually to work. Okay? God didn't bring you here to come and eat, drink, and sleep. No. You need to put in the work. God needs servants. Okay? I always say the work of God is vast. God cannot do it alone. It needs you and I as soul created in its image. Okay? Created in its image to come and help in its work. So until you realize this image it is talking about, you stand no chance of working with God. Right? So if you want to work with God someday, then you need to start discovering yourself. Take a look at this scenario. If I discover myself, alright, which I have, I know that I am so. If my neighbor does so, if the next person does so, if the next person does so, we will live more in harmony. There will be more compassion than hate. Alright? And then the world will now be drawn towards the peace that we all yearn for. Okay? So don't be selfish about your gains. No. Especially when it comes to spirituality. You need to share what you know. Okay? Because if it is only you, then you haven't made any difference. Think about it. Fine. It is an individual path. Okay? But it's a collective mission. You do your part individually. The other person does his or her part individually, and then collectively we vibrate on a higher frequency, and then we rid ourselves of worries, of fear, of problems. If this is not peace, then tell me what else is. So honey, block out that noise so you can stay focused. Forward ever, backward never. reinvention journey comes with losses, and it's totally normal. The reason being that you are vibrating from a higher frequency, and you're no longer a vibrational match. And so you just do not fit into their circle anymore. Alright? Don't worry about those things, those people. No. New things are gonna come around. New people are gonna come around. And trust me, it will feel like hope. Because at this point, the universes will be aligning you to things that will match your newly attained vibrational frequency. You don't need to force it. Everything will fall into place beautifully. So the last tip I want to share about rising above is to stay alert. Stay on guard. See that peace, that stillness, that calmness you have attained. Protect it with every fiber of your being, because that shit is too expensive. You reflect, alright? Look back. Was it easy? The answer is definitely no. It didn't come easy. So why then do you want to mess with it? Why then do you want to play with it? Honey, protect it like an egg, alright? Protect it with every fiber of your being. Do not lose guard. Never go back to your old ways, and proceed with caution. I'm really particular about proceeding with caution because sometimes the old ways may be creeping back. Alright? They may be coming through the back door. It is up to you to recognize that you have outgrown such spaces and you don't belong there any longer. Stand your ground. Trash all those old things. And again, if you need someone to vent to God. And if that's not enough, go and stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself. If that is still not enough, get you a journal and brain dump. Write everything that is going on in your mind at that particular moment into that book. Just let it flow. Write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. It's best to practice that than to go about telling people or letting people into your business who will go a long way to start spreading gossip. To start spreading gossip, looking for who to blame for their own mistakes. Can you imagine? You have gone to commit your own mistakes, and instead of owning it and taking responsibility, you are looking for people to blame, that it is because of you, it is because of that, it is because of... Honey, that's not the way to go. Say it is me. Na me kosam. Na me kosam. Own it. Yes. That's what they do. So spend more time observing and less time talking. You have nothing to prove to anyone. You owe no one any explanation. And you do not need validation from anyone. You are as solid as a rock. Go explore and build your own world, knowing clearly that your only limitation is your mindset. The only way to guard your energy and gravitate towards higher vibrations is to engage in a spiritual exercise. Feed that soul each day. Feed you that which is within. Feed it each day. If you can remember to eat daily, then you can remember to pray daily. You can remember to meditate daily. You can remember to contemplate daily. Stick to whichever works best for you and practice it daily. Not sometimes, every single day. After you have secured your divine protection, your divine guidance, your divine love, you need to go ahead and feed the mind. Okay? Because the two goes hand in hand. The soul feeds the mind with information, and then the mind operates with whatever it receives from soul. Alright? But then, if you are not doing a spiritual exercise, alright, the mind will overpower you as soul and will start to do what it likes instead of listening to what soul is asking it to do. Which is why a spiritual exercise is very important. Okay? A spiritual exercise is very important to tame the mind so that soul can act in its fullest capacity. Alright? The information comes from soul, not the other way around. Okay? So if you're acting anyhow, if you're doing anyhow, just know that now your mind to take control. That the soul, the real you, is in deep sleep. You gotta wake it up. Wake it up. It's about time we made our minds work for us and not against us. So put in the work. Become unrecognizable, unbreakable, unshakable, and go create your own world with your own resources. Solely relying on God to open the gateway for your true helpers, the hand-picked one by God itself. Okay? Your true helpers. Those who will be willing to help without expecting anything in return. Not sex, not gifts, nothing. There are people who are willing to help you. Okay? And you can only discover them if you are involving God. Okay? Add God into the equation and you will know exactly who to talk to. Honey, go ahead and take your power back. You've got this. And I'm rooting for you. Chinese would say, Jia yo, jia yo, jia yo. Anyway, this brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Love divinely and unconditionally. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye.